Right now, somewhere in the world, there is a building. Inside that building, hundreds of people are sitting at desks with headsets on and scripts in front of them. Every single person inside that building has the exact same job today, which is to call American grandparents and take their money. That is not a scene from a movie, and it is not happening on the dark web. That is simply Tuesday morning at the office in 7 specific countries we are about to walk through together. And here is the part that is going to make you genuinely angry. Almost none of those people will ever face arrest, and not because the FBI fails to identify them. The FBI knows exactly who they are. The FBI has the names, the addresses, and the photographs. The problem is that you cannot arrest somebody who lives in a country that refuses to let American law enforcement through the door. So today we are taking a little world tour together, 7 countries, one after another. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your phone keeps ringing, who is sitting on the other end of that line, and the one sentence you can say that will make them hang up first. Before we start the tour, picture this correctly in your mind. When a scammer calls your house pretending to be your grandson in jail, or the IRS, or Microsoft tech support, that call is almost never originating inside the United States. The call is being routed through the internet from a building thousands of miles away, frequently a building containing hundreds of people sitting at desks with headsets, reading directly from a script. These operations are called scam call centers, and in 7 specific countries, they operate openly every single day with virtually no fear of arrest. Let me walk you through them, starting with the one closest to home. Number 1 on our tour is the Dominican Republic. This country sits at the very heart of the grandparent scam. If you have ever heard about the grandparent scam, where someone calls and claims your grandchild has been in an accident and urgently needs bail money, there is an extremely high probability that the call originated in the Dominican Republic. The Department of Justice has been chasing these call centers for years. Just within the last 12 months, federal prosecutors charged at least 17 people who were running grandparent scam operations out of the Dominican Republic. One single ring stole more than $5 million from over 400 elderly Americans, with an average victim age of 84 years old. Here is the deeper problem. Even when the FBI successfully identifies the ringleaders of these operations, getting them extradited can take literal years of legal work. The Dominican Republic does cooperate occasionally, but for every single criminal they hand over, 10 more are already running call centers in the very same neighborhood. The infrastructure remains in place. The phone lines remain active. The scripts continue circulating. Number 2 on our tour brings us to Jamaica. Jamaica holds the unfortunate title of being the world capital of the lottery and sweepstakes scam. You probably know this call already. You won the Publishers Clearinghouse. You won a brand new Mercedes. Just send the taxes first. Just cover the processing fee first. That entire genre of scam traces back to Jamaica. For more than a decade, the town of Montego Bay has been so notorious for lottery scams that local young men actually brag openly about it. They even have a name for the work. They call it lotto scamming. They post videos online showing off the cash earnings. And while there have been some arrests over the years, the extradition treaty between Jamaica and the United States is slow, expensive, and filled with legal loopholes. The same call center can get raided in 1 month and resume full operation the next month, sometimes from the very same building. Number 3 takes us to India. If you have ever received a call from someone with an Indian accent telling you that your computer has a serious virus, or that the Social Security Administration is about to suspend your number, or that the IRS is preparing to arrest you, that call originated in India. Specifically, the call came from massive call centers located in cities like Kolkata, Mumbai, and Gurgaon. Now, to be fair, India has actually started cracking down meaningfully in recent years. Last year alone, the FBI ran 11 joint operations alongside India's Central Bureau of Investigation. Together, they made over 215 arrests, which represented a 700% increase compared to the previous year. But here's the catch that nobody likes to discuss. For every call center that gets raided, the workers simply relocate to a new building down the street and start the operation over again. The scamming industry is so enormous, and the wages so attractive compared to legitimate jobs, that shutting it down completely would require resources that India simply does not possess. Number 4 brings us to Nigeria. Nigeria is famous globally for the romance scam, where a charming stranger meets a widow online, builds an emotional relationship over many months, and then begins asking for money. Nigeria is also where most of the so-called Nigerian prince emails originated years ago. But the operation has grown enormously more sophisticated since those early days. Today, Nigerian scam rings target lonely seniors on Facebook, on dating sites, and inside church chat rooms. They will spend 6 full months grooming a victim before asking for a single dollar. And when the FBI does manage to file charges, Nigerian nationals frequently have to be caught while traveling abroad because Nigeria itself rarely extradites its own citizens. One famous case in 2024 involved a Nigerian man named Charles, who was arrested only because he happened to land at the Dallas airport. Had he stayed home in Nigeria, he would still be a free man today. Number 5 on our world tour is Cambodia. This is where the story takes a genuinely dark turn. Cambodia is one of several countries that the United Nations has officially labeled a human rights crisis, because the scam call centers operating there are not staffed by traditional criminals. They are staffed by modern slaves. Hundreds of thousands of people, lured from across Asia through fake job postings, have had their passports confiscated and been forced into massive fortified compounds. Inside those compounds, they call Americans and run romance scams, crypto investment scams, and pig butchering schemes. The Cambodian government knows these compounds exist. International journalists have filmed them from the air. But powerful local officials profit financially from the operations, so nothing gets shut down. American victims today are frequently being called, in many cases, by modern slaves. Number 6 brings us to Myanmar, and Myanmar is somehow even worse than Cambodia. The country is in the middle of an active civil war, and along the border with Thailand, there are entire towns that exist for exactly one purpose: running scams against foreigners, including a staggering number of Americans. The largest of these compounds reportedly contain tens of thousands of trafficked workers. The Myanmar military regime actually benefits financially from the scam centers, which forms a significant part of why the situation never changes. The United States government has officially described these Myanmar compounds as the largest concentration of cyber fraud anywhere in the world, and the money stolen from American seniors is now actively funding armed military conflict. Number 7, the final stop on our tour, is Laos. Laos rounds out what international experts call the golden triangle of Southeast Asian scam operations. In northern Laos, inside special economic zones along the Mekong River, Chinese organized crime groups have constructed compounds that resemble small cities. They generate their own electricity, they pump their own water, they employ their own private security forces. Inside those walls, trafficked workers run scam operations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The financial losses are staggering. According to the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission, Americans lost at least $10 billion to Southeast Asia-based scams during 2024 alone. Laos accounts for a major share of that number, and the local government either cannot or will not shut these compounds down. Now I want you to stop for just a moment and let all of that genuinely sink in. 7 countries, 4 continents, hundreds of thousands of people whose entire daily job is to call Americans and steal from them. And in almost every single case, when the FBI eventually identifies the specific criminal responsible, that person is sitting comfortably in a country where they cannot be touched. Even when extradition does eventually succeed, the process can drag on for years, and by then, the same criminal has stolen from hundreds more victims. There is one more piece you absolutely need to understand, because it is the part that surprises people the most. Once your money leaves the country, your bank cannot help you recover it. The wire transfer you sent, the gift cards you read out loud over the phone, the cryptocurrency you deposited into that ATM at the gas station, all of it is essentially unrecoverable. Banks have extremely limited tools available for clawing back international wire transfers, and those tools only function if you call within hours, not days. Most seniors do not realize they have been scammed until the next morning, or sometimes not until the following week. By the time they understand what happened, the money has been moved through 3 or 4 shell companies and converted into cryptocurrency. It is permanently gone. And here is the truly painful question. Why are seniors specifically targeted? Why not everybody equally? Why does the FBI keep emphasizing that people over 60 get hit dramatically harder than anyone else? The answer is uncomfortable, but understanding it matters enormously. Scammers target seniors for 3 specific reasons. First, seniors are significantly more likely to actually answer a phone call from an unknown number. Younger people simply let those calls ring through to voicemail. Second, seniors are more likely to have accumulated real savings, including a paid-off house, a pension, a retirement account, money built up over 40 or 50 years of working life. Third, and this reason is the cruelest of all, scammers know that seniors are more likely to feel deeply ashamed after being tricked. That shame keeps people silent. That shame stops victims from telling their own family, and the resulting silence allows the scammer to keep operating freely. So here is exactly what you do. Are you ready? Because this is the entire video summarized in 3 sentences. If you receive a phone call from someone you do not know, who is asking for money, who is creating artificial urgency, who is telling you not to hang up, who is telling you not to tell your family, who is asking for gift cards, cryptocurrency, or a wire transfer, then hang up the phone immediately. I do not care if they claim to be the police. I do not care if they claim to be the IRS. I do not care if they sound exactly like your own grandson. Hang up the phone. Then call your family member directly using the number you already have saved for them. If the call was genuinely from them, they will pick up. And if you remain uncertain, here is a simple trick that works almost every time. Set up a family password ahead of time. Just one single word that only your real family members would know. The next time someone calls claiming to be your grandchild in trouble, ask them to say the password. A real scammer will panic and hang up immediately. Your real grandchild will know it. Look, I understand this is heavy material. I know it is genuinely upsetting to learn that there are entire countries where stealing from your parents and grandparents is essentially a legitimate, profitable business. But the only weapon you have against this enormous machine is information. The scammers are counting on you not knowing. They are counting on shame. They are counting on silence. They are counting on you being too embarrassed to mention to your kids that you got a strange phone call. Do not give them that gift. Talk about this video at the dinner table this weekend. Share it with your parents. Share it with your in-laws. Share it with the neighbor down the street whose husband recently passed away and who is suddenly receiving a lot of phone calls. Because the only thing the scammers in those 7 countries are genuinely afraid of is an American senior who already knows the trick. If this video helped you, please subscribe to Fraud Watch. Every video on this channel gets built from FBI files and Department of Justice case records, never from rumors. And if you, or someone you love, has already been scammed, please do not stay silent about it. Report the incident at ic3.gov. That is the letter I, the letter C, the number 3.gov. Your report is what gives the FBI the evidence they need to go after these call centers. Stay safe out there.